Hi, my name is Marissa Maloof, and I'm an attorney with the Immigration Law Office of Los Angeles. Today I'm just going to go over the basics of immigration court and what exactly happens at a master hearing and a merits hearing. So before I worked in this job, I actually worked as a law clerk at the immigration court here in Los Angeles, which is very, very busy. And in that role, I would write decisions for the judges, I would listen to their hearings, I would watch their hearings. So I would see many, many different master hearings and merits hearings, from all of the different types of judges that there are. After that, I worked as an immigration officer with USCIS that was more on the administrative side. So I moved into this job to actually try to help immigrants that are in their immigration court proceedings, just from coming from my government background and having seen kind of what's behind the scenes at the immigration court. Something that I've found in private practice so far is that many clients are extremely afraid of what is called the master calendar hearing. This is the very first hearing that you have in front of an immigration judge. And it's right to be a little bit nervous. It's very understandable. But it's good to remember that really at this hearing, as long as you show up, nothing major is going to happen in your case. There's no reason to be so nervous and have so much anxiety about it. You'll find that when you show up, you'll be with many other people who are there for the exact same hearing. And that each hearing, each person is only really in front of the judge for just a few minutes, at most, 5 to 10 minutes. And all that the judge is really going to ask you during that time is where you live, make sure that you understand that you need to change your address if you move, what your best language is, and then sometimes you'll do what's called pleadings on the notice to appear form that you received. Now, sometimes our office will actually contest what's in those pleadings and say that you shouldn't be in removal proceedings at all. Other times we'll just admit it because that is what happened, and we'll just move to letting the judge know the types of relief and defenses that we will be seeking in your case. But other than those things of really, going through the pleadings and letting the judge know the types of relief that you may be eligible for and that we plan on doing, that's pretty much the main back and forth that there is. The key thing that happens at this hearing is scheduling your next hearing. Scheduling what's called the individual or merits hearing on whatever applications we already have submitted or intend on submitting. So the judge gets out their calendar and we look at our calendars and the prosecutor looks at their calendars and we find a date where we can go forward with your application. Now sometimes the judge will actually just schedule another master calendar hearing for whatever reason, it depends. Occasionally, if you didn't show up with an attorney at the first master hearing, the judge will usually give you a short continuance so that way you can come back with one and schedule your merits. So nothing to worry about. The key thing is that you show up. The only way that you could be deported at that hearing, detained, or have anything happen as a result of that is if you don't go. Now, talking a little bit about the individual or merits hearing. What this means is that is actually kind of the trial, so to speak, on the application or your defenses for removal. So at this hearing, you yourself and any witnesses you have will give testimony. Usually we'll have already submitted lots of evidence in your case and a brief on your case explaining exactly why you're eligible. And really, even though we call it like a trial or a hearing, it's more like an interview where your attorney will interview you and ask you questions. The judge can ask you questions, and then the prosecutor will ask you questions. But it's not a prosecutor like you may be imagining from Law and Order or TV. You'll see that all of the parties are sitting down. Usually the prosecutor will just read through their questions, and it will usually be a fairly non-adversarial event. And the most important thing is that you just tell your story. Now, while all of that happens, and it is a very, very important hearing, it's also key to remember that you're not going to be deported right after that hearing. Even if the judge issues a decision on your case that day that's unfavorable, you always have options to appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals, to the Ninth Circuit after that, and even to the Supreme Court. So while it's a nerve-wracking hearing, you don't need to be worried that, oh, tomorrow I could be deported because it's your merits hearing. All of that said, I cannot overemphasize the importance of being prepared for your hearing. It's very important to know your story, the ins and outs of your story, and to be prepared for anything that the government could ask you about in your case. So that's why in our cases, we will prepare with our clients, usually have multiple appointments with them, go through their testimony several times, have our attorneys pretend to be the prosecutor and the judge. We take it very, very seriously to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible. So if your attorney is not preparing you for those things, it might be time to find a new attorney who will take your case seriously and make sure that you're really ready for this. All of this to say, I know that a lot of this has been telling you to not worry and don't have so much anxiety about these cases. But I want you to understand that we know the anxiety that these cases can produce in our clients. We know how important it is, and that no matter how many times we tell you to don't be nervous, you will be nervous. But the key thing is to always be prepared and to feel confident going into it and know that your attorneys truly care. So if you're interested in contacting our office and having us represent you at your hearings, please give us a call at 800-792-9889. Thank you.